Yehudit, when I read about stem cells first, it was all positive. Stem cells were only good things. And now there's a link between stem cells and cancer cells, because stem cells can, as I understand it, can produce all kinds of things. And the thing about a cancer cell is it reproduces, etc., etc. So your work is they have a common element. How do you apply that to tissue regeneration? Because we used to believe you lose your liver, that's the end of it. You can't do anything. But that no longer seems to be true. Is that correct?
This is correct. This is correct. So liver regeneration, I mean, the way I started to work on that is different a little bit from the two other projects that we just discussed. And it has to do with the request of a student to do a PhD in my lab. So one day, a few years ago, 5 years ago, a young gynecologist stepped into my office and said, "My name is Yuval Glinchinsky, I'm a gynecologist. My boss told me that I should talk to you because I should try to do a PhD with you." So I said, he was a very nice guy and I like his boss a lot. And
personal factors.
Very personal factors. And I said, "Sure, sit down, let's talk. Do you know anything about epigenetics?" And he said, "No." So I said, "Okay, let's try and find something that will be of interest to you and to me, and try to see if we can find something like that." And we discussed it for a long time. At the end, the help came from his boss, chief of gynecologists, and who came to me and he said, "Did you read this paper?" And I said, "No, I didn't." So I read the paper. It was about regeneration of muscle cells. And it was a very interesting paper. And the essence of the paper was that you can regenerate old muscles from old mice if you connect the mice with young mice. So if you have a common blood system between a young and an old mice, then the older mice are doing much better in muscle regeneration. And in the paper they had some discussion how they thought it could be. And the discussion and a little bit of experimental data had to do with epigenetics. So that really kept me interested. And we started to see where can we study it. And liver regeneration is a very well-studied phenomenon. And so this is on one hand. And then we thought pregnancy is a little bit like two organisms sharing the blood system.
Oh, I see.
And being interested in regenerative medicine, because in our work with silencing of pluripotent stem cell genes, we also studied how regeneration, how you can go back in time and get a stem cell from a fully differentiated cell. So we got some understanding what you need to go back in time. I said, "Oh, this is kind of nice." We have regeneration. Liver regeneration is a very well-studied technique. And we have pregnancy. And Yuval is a gynecologist. And I am a scientist that's interested in regenerative medicine. This is how we started the project.
And the project is at what stage now?
Okay, we just published the first piece of work.
That's the one I read.
Yeah, and
because it's very exciting. I mean, when you read it.
I think so. What we showed there is that regeneration. Let me back up a little bit. Liver regeneration in old people is a problem.
Yeah.
They regenerate the liver not as good as young people, and we were interested to see whether we can improve liver regeneration in old people. And what we saw is that pregnant mice regenerate their liver much, much better. So then non-pregnant old mice. So we said, okay, how do they do that? How do pregnant mice regenerate their liver? And we just went inside this process, and we realized that regeneration in pregnancy is a little bit different than liver regeneration in non-pregnant animal. So we deciphered the molecular.
How did you find that?
Oh, that was not that hard at the beginning. We were expecting, like all the liver regeneration, most of the literature is through cell proliferation, which means that the cell divides itself, and this is how you get the liver back. In fact, it's amazing. In a week time, if you cut 2/3 of the liver out in a young animal, the liver regenerates itself in 7 days.
Oh,
but
wow.
the way it does it is by the cells divide.
Right.
And then we looked how pregnant mice do it better. And we realized that they don't do it by dividing the cells and having more cells. Different mechanism. What they do is each cell enlarges in size. So this is how they get the liver to the initial size very quickly. And it's not just the initial size. The liver works well. The animal survives. So we said, okay, so let's understand how pregnant mice are doing that. We deciphered all the signaling that takes place there. And then we went back to aged mice and we say, can we turn the pregnancy program on? We know that the cell dividing program is not working well in aged mice. So maybe if we turn the other program, the pregnancy program, maybe they'll do better. And it was amazing. They really did better.
It sounds like, it's almost science fiction.
That's
what the excitement is. You think, well, if I have a problem with my lung, we'll get just some system to turn it back on again, and I'll grow it back. And you see that in a kind of science fiction story or something, but it really looks possible.
Right. And now we are at this stage that we would like to decipher which molecule really does it in pregnancy. What's special about pregnancy? What do you have in pregnancy that turns the program of cell growth, that the cell increases in size? Once we know that, then we can devise a mechanism, with simple molecules, small molecules, and maybe help people out with that.
And would that have a reciprocal effect on also understanding cancer then? Is it possible that the same mechanism that turns on that is the same mechanism that makes things wild and chaotic?
You're
it's
absolutely
possible.
right. Yeah.
But you're not working on that as well. I mean,
no,
how
no,
many
not in the
territories
hepatoma field. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll have the show
I have
on,
many years
and a student will come from Canada and say, "I want to study there."
I love it when they come with an idea, fresh idea. It's a challenge for me because plasticity is something that you need to keep and to challenge.
And the body does too.
So it's fun.
Well,
yeah. So I'm waiting for the new Canadian student to come and turn on another project that I didn't think about.
Yeah, I won't get into that because we're at the end of the show and it's been terrific. I want to really thank you. Your research is really amazing. It truly is. Thank you for your research and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
My guest is Donna Holbrook. Welcome to the show, Donna.
Thank you, Howard.
Now, you've had a long connection as a Christian with the Jewish community. Just explain to the audience what that is.
My connection with the Jewish community wasn't birthed until I went to Israel, and that was about 16 years ago. And once you visit Israel, you come back wanting more, and the closest link to Israel is the Jewish community here. So that is how that all started.
And this involvement with this show, you've been on the show as a guest, and you're involved as the director with the Christian Embassy in Jerusalem. What role do you see this show playing, both for the Jewish community and for Israel and for the Christian community?
I see our Jewish world as being a very critical link, actually, to the Canada-Israel relation and to the faith groups, the Christian and Jewish in particular. When you come back from Israel, I was hungry for anything Jewish, and where do you go? And so I went into the Jewish community. I went to hear the different speakers in the synagogues, and I read the papers, and I tuned into CTS, and I saw your show. And that became a regular program for me. I watched it faithfully every Sunday. And I think it helps people who are here to learn about Israel, whether they go there or not. If you've been there, you want more. If you haven't been there, you need to learn more about Israel. And the program is so diverse about culture and agriculture and technology and medical advances and just fun things that you can do there. The wineries and the food expositions that you can go on. There's much to enjoy and learn about Israel. And I think as a Christian, Canadian, we enjoy those types of shared values, the sports, and our young people need to know that the kids in Israel are just like them, just in a different environment.
And you're just about to go back to Israel again.
I am.
And you're going to have a good trip. And you have the Feast of the Tabernacles there.
That's right.
And you attract a big Christian community from all over the world for that. We're going to have a special show on you because
That would be great. That would
we have
be
to do
great.
that because I think the Christian support for Israel is so significant now, and it's important to understand that. But I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I promise you we'll have the special show, and we'll feature what you do and your activities.
Thank you, Howard. Glad to be here.